Good morning, everybody. Say thank you very much for taking a few minutes out of your day to listen to the old guy in the orange shirt. It's a pretty big topic this month. The IRS has finally released their regulations for the new mandates for e-file thresholds. So we'll probably have to just get things going. So again, the question is, what's this going to mean for you? For a lot of people, it's going to mean not a lot, frankly, because most people are e-filing already. But if you're not e-filing your W-2s and 1099s, it's likely you will now fall under that mandate. So we'll talk a little bit about where that mandate comes from, what the regulations are. And as a change, we typically don't spend a lot of time with Aatrix, but we do have a product that will work for most people. And so we'll spend a few minutes at the end talking a little bit about what Aatrix can do for you. So on the 21st of February, the IRS finally released their regulations that will affect virtually everybody in terms of what that threshold is for Form 1099 series, W-2s, and the Affordable Care Act documents. These final regulations are for something that was actually done in 2019, July 1, 2019. The Taxpayer First Act reduced the number of returns that can be filed on paper to 10. However, that was never enforced, and it was never, the final regulations were not released until just very recently. And so it is now law. So what does that mean? Well, the e-file mandate is necessary because even though 99% of businesses are e-filing their W-2s and 1099s, the IRS still received nearly 40 million paper forms. And we all know that that's too much paper, and they'll never get through all of it, and it just gets stacked up, and it slows the process down. And frankly, I mean, in 2023, there's no reason to use paper. Electronic filing has been around for many years now. The securities are unquestionable, and the processes are very easy to understand. So prior to the new regulations, 250, if you had 250 returns of any one specific type, you had to e-file it. So if you had 250 W-2s, you had to e-file them. If you had 250 1099s, you had to e-file them. But if you had only, say, 150 W-2s and 150 1099s, you were not required to electronically file anything. That's now different, because now they want you to add those up. So however many W-2s you're doing and however many 1099s you're doing, you got to add that total together. And you can see all the forms that count over there on the right. So if you have more than 10 forms total of all of these, now they have to be done electronically. And frankly, that means virtually all employers. The penalties, of course, they go up every year. And the penalties for non-compliance with the electronic filing are the same as if you file late or you file incorrect information. So potentially in 2023, you could be fined up to $310 per W-2 or $310 per 1099 if they're filed after August 1st. So it's important to make sure you get it taken care of. And of course, if you're intentionally disregarding the filing process altogether, it gets very, very expensive, $580 a form. So that's really all there is. The bottom line is the regulation is very simple. If you file more than a total of 10 W-2s and 1099s combined, you have to file electronically now. So you're going to need to find a solution. You know, some of the payroll services provide that Frankly, they're very expensive. They tend to be very pricey, and you don't have much control over them. They file them when they're going to file them, and you pay the freight. So Aatrix has a solution that certainly fits most businesses. The Aatrix W-2 1099, 1095 preparer is what we call it. That solution is available for free. You can download the software at aatrix.com/eFile and take a look at it. The truth of it is it's very easy. It works with virtually any payroll. All you need to be able to do is print out a spreadsheet of your or create a spreadsheet of your payroll data. And most any software or service allows you to do that. And you can upload that into this preparer and go about filing. One of the cool things about it is that no matter which ones you're filing, 1099s, 1095s, W-2s, the process is always exactly the same, how you go about doing it. So you don't have a whole bunch of different efforts. And you can do everything at once. I mean, you can e-file, you can have them printed and mailed, you can do all of these things and get that, do it all in one single process. Aatrix does over 130 validations and error checks. The error rate on these things that are prepared by our customers is less than 1%. And we go a long ways towards mitigating any of that information with the agencies. We do millions upon millions of W-2s and 1099s every year, so we're very connected to this process. We nearly eliminate all fines and penalties because we put things in that will stop you. If you're making a mistake that's going to get you a fine or a penalty, typically we'll stop the process and say, hey, here, this is wrong, it can't be used, you need to go back and fix it. And then of course our security is second to none. All of your data is encrypted and protected at every level, from when you're sending the data to us, from when we're parsing that out and sending it out to the agencies. At every level, the encryption is unmatched and very safe. The nice thing about having this solution available to you, again, is that you can do these on your own schedule. So, if you've got a small business and you need to spend your time during the day actually working your business, you can do that. So you can file these reports with Aatrix at any time of day or night. As soon as you get them to us, we'll let you know that they were received. Once they're received, if they're received on time, we guarantee that they'll be delivered prior to any deadline that applies. That's state or federal, or to the employees. Mailing W-2s can be a tricky thing. If you're just mailing them out of your office, you really don't have a whole lot of knowledge of where they go once you drop them in a mailbox. So they can get lost, and there can be difficulty. Now with Aatrix, those things can go away. First of all, you can deliver W-2s and 1099s electronically if your employees agree, or we can guarantee you that they'll get through the mail. You can go to efile.aatrix.com and we track every single W-2. So if you get a call from an employee and they say, hey, I never got my W-2, you can jump on that site and you can verify that it was delivered or where it's at in the system. Some people get anxious and they may be looking for them the day you mailed them, and you can tell them, oh, well, they're in East Peasic and they'll be on your doorstep on Wednesday. So you can put them at ease. The other thing is that we have these all in electronic files, and you can use efile.aatrix.com to reprint them and deliver them to your employees as needed. The cool thing again about this whole process is it eliminates a lot of the spots where errors get made. There's nobody transcribing anything. There's nobody keying in stuff to websites or anything. This stuff goes directly to the agency that it's being filed to. There's no handling this data and information manually that can lead to those kinds of just inadvertent errors. Those do not exist. In Aatrix pipeline and electronic filing system is a guaranteed process. So that's where we're at. And I just thought I'd show you real quick how our preparer works. And again, you can get to our preparer at aatrix.com/eFile. And what you'll start with is you'll decide what file what you're going to file. Again, so the process is exactly the same, whether you're doing Affordable Care Act 1095s, W-2s, or 1099s. You simply select what you're going to file. If you filed before using the software, your company name and EIN may already be in the system. You just simply select that. And then you choose how you're going to get the information to you. Now, if you have an EFW2 file that comes from your solution, you can use that. Or you can use any kind of a CSV or TXT file that you can create from your software, and simply select it and click next, and that'll bring the data forward. The way we get that into the form is you'll see over here on the left-hand side, all of the headers that you would have in that CSV file are listed. You simply click them and drag them over to the appropriate box. You can see here, for example, first name, and then you can see that it's been linked. So once that happens, all of that data will go into the appropriate box, and you just drag and drop them, each one, into the appropriate box, and go forward. Then we'll verify some company information. First of all, you get the chance to test drive it if you want, so you can see how it works without worrying about accidentally filing something. Or you can just get started and file. We're going to verify your EIN number because we want to make sure we're filing for the company you intend to. If you have, if you have multiple file types for the same EIN, you have to let us know that, because you'll have to go through this process separately for each one of them. And at the end, we'll put them all together because the feds will only accept one filing per EIN. Put in the company information. This is important because this is what's going to show up on the W-2 when it's delivered. We're going to check and make sure that you're filing for yourself, or if you are a third-party filer. If you're a third-party filer, you're going to have to identify yourself. Social Security guys want to know who you are. And then we'll verify with your state tax information so that we know that you're filing it appropriately. Some basic data questions. Do you have any exempt employees? Do you have any employees that are members of the clergy? Do you want control numbers? Those kinds of things are very simple questions. What type of filer you are for W-3? Vast majority of you out there are going to be a 941 filer. If you happen to have third-party sick pay, you're going to have to put that in, and we'll include that in box 14 and make sure that we're handling that correct. And then, of course, if you went out of business or you used a different EIN, we're going to need to know that information as well. So once you've got that data done, once you've gone through that basic setup, your information is going to be dropped out into what we call our grid. It looks like a spreadsheet. It acts like a spreadsheet. It's a spreadsheet. So you'll go through and you'll verify each type of data. First, you'll verify your employee information, make sure names and social security numbers and addresses are correct. You may notice when you're in there, you went, oh, crud, I forgot, Nancy got married. We need to change her last name in there. Make sure if you change it on here, you go back and change it in your software, because this will not change it back in your software. But you can make the change here so you can go ahead and start filing. Then you're going to go through and you're going to look at any additional stuff. If that If you have a retirement program or third-party sick pay or any of those things, you're going to have to check and verify that information. You're going to look at the federal wages. So you can see your federal wages, federal withholding, Social Security wages, Social Security withholding, Medicare, Medicaid. You'll notice that there are totals at the top of the screen. You know, that's for people who may have 500 or 1,000 employees, rather than having to scroll all the way down to the bottom to try and find a total to verify against what you have in your payroll software. Those numbers appear at the top of the column, so it makes it a lot easier for you to verify them against your payroll data. So again, once you've done that, then you're going to look at your states. Any state withholdings are going to be listed. No matter how many states you have, they're all going to be in there, and you'll just make sure that those numbers are correct. Now, if something's out of whack and the withholdings aren't correct, or totals are upside down or whatever, you're going to get warnings, and we're going to stop you. We're going to make you fix it before you can go forward. This is how we would stop you. You'd get a little error warning like this. It'll highlight the information that's wrong, and it'll tell you what you have to do to fix it. And so once you've been able to fix that, you'll be able to just move forward. We get to the pricing on it. You'll get a screen that talks about the complete W-2 service. That's the one that makes the most sense. We'll print and mail your employee copies. We'll send out any of the EW-2 copies. If you have employees that have given you permission to send them electronic version, we'll send you those. We'll file your Fed W-2s and W-3s. We'll file any state W-2s and reconciliation forms that are required. And then we still host all of those W-2s online, tied to the employee Social Security number. So even if they're not receiving an electronic W-2, if they call you up and say, hey, I moved and I forgot to tell you, and I didn't get my W-2, and I now live in Cleveland, you can go to that eFile.aatrix.com. You can pull up their information. You can send them to the website. They can actually download their own W-2, and you don't have to drop one in the mail for them. We do provide a PDF archive if you want one. If you want to have something you can throw in a fire safe or store offsite, you just go ahead and click on here, and for $34.95 we'll send you one. It shows up on a flash drive. It just shows up on a little flash drive and has all your data. Then we'll review the information that we're going to file on your behalf. In this case, you can see that we're filing the federal W-2, W-3. We're doing the employee copies, and then we allow you, in this case here, you can print your employer copies, but they're on file. Again, you'll have a history file of these things, so it's not really necessary to print any of them. You'll be able to review them and look at exactly how these forms are going to appear to your employers or to the state. For each one, you'll be able to take a look at them and make sure that they look correct. Once you've done that, you'll log in to the Aatrix eFile Center. Username and password, just like anywhere else in the world. You will have created that at eFile.aatrix.com. You'll need to set up a quick account there, and that's a very important step, because that's where you're going to have your history files. That's where you're going to get your confirmations. It's where you're going to be able to track mailing. All of your filing information that you ever file is going to be held there for you so that you can review it at any time. Once you log in, again, we're going to go through some verifications. We're going to make sure that we got the right company. Is this the right company you wanted to file for? Is this what you agreed to pay? Because here's the information. And then the submission dates basically are, we're going to send them out as soon as we get them. So W-2s, for example, will be mailed out the next business day. They'll be sent off and on their way to your employees if you're mailing them. If they're EW-2s, they'll be posted within hours. We'll need credit card information. Unfortunately, you do have to pay for the service, but it's very affordable. I think once you take a look at this and you compare the pricing that Aatrix offers, it's absolutely less than half, sometimes less than a third what some of these other services are charging. And like I say, we do millions upon millions of these every year, and it's a great process. I should tell you, we didn't share this information, but we do a survey every year of our eFile customers. And when I started this survey about 15 years ago, I put a question in there that my boss wasn't crazy about because he thought it was a difficult question. And the question was, would you recommend this service to others? Not, were you happy with it? Was it easy to use? No, we asked the question, would you recommend this service to others? That number is at 96%. 96% of all of our eFile customers will recommend this service to others, so you know it works well, you know it's affordable, and you know it's reliable. The last screen you're going to get is going to be an AFID number, and then we're going to verify the email that we're going to send this to. That AFID number is important. That's pretty clever. It's an Aatrix filing identification number. That's tied directly to each of your individual filings. So if you have a question or you need to call our service department for any reason, you'll need that number so we can find the exact filing, and we'll be able to track exactly the information that was sent to us. This is the efile.aatrix.com site. You can see it's a simple form. I would recommend you do this before you file, but if you're doing it during the filing process, it's going to say, hey, you need to enroll in efile.aatrix.com, and they'll send you here, and you'll be able to go there and take a look. So you can see some of the things there. It'll show all of the companies. If you're filing for more than one companies, it'll show you that. If you have any messages or notifications, they'll be in your inbox. You can set up a calendar to make sure that you're filing on time for, say, your state filings and whatnot. Then there'll be a history of all the filings that you have sent us, and it'll have that AFID number attached to it. The year-end manager, that's what's going to give you the ability to track W-2s and 1099s that are in the mail. It also gives you the opportunity to get passwords and access for your employees to get their lost W-2 online by themselves. And so all of that information is going to be there. And if you do want to print one and hand it to them in the office, you can also do that in the year-end manager. Any pricing information is there, and of course you can contact our help group through this process here, through this window here as well. One of the nice things about that is if you file to 4 states and the feds, you don't have to go to 5 different places to get answers, or if you have a question or if you have a concern, you don't have to go to 5 different places. You go to Aatrix, you go to help, and we'll facilitate the efforts that are necessary to get your filings taken care of. So if you have any questions, the easiest way to take care of it, of course, is go to aatrix.com/efile. And that's going to show you all about the preparer and how it works. And it'll give you the opportunity to download the software for free so you can take a look at it and see how it works. So again, thank you very much for taking some time this morning to get a look at exactly what this is going to mean for your company. If you've been printing them at home or in your office, for most of you, that has to go away. I guarantee you that a very, very high percentage of employers in this country file more than 10 total forms. And it's about time to step into 2023 anyway and use that electronic process. It'll save you time, it'll save you money, and Aatrix makes it very easy to do. Again, thank you very much. Have a great day.